Because the biggest mistake that people do, I'm talking about the buyers and the investors, is that they...
Let's put ourselves in the shoes of the investor. How can an investor assure that he made the right choice in choosing the agents?
First-time buyers do not belong in communities. I'll repeat that.
First-time buyers, they
do not belong in communities.
But what do you mean by first-time buyers don't belong to communities? No. Mortgaging a secondary market unit is better than an off-plan with a good payments plan.
Wrong.
All right, develop on that.
Well, do you know how you grow a portfolio?
I don't have a good idea about it, but yeah, tell me. Enlighten me.
I pull out the list of the lands around it from DLD and I tell you how many floors they are and what you're looking at before it's being built. Because if...
Today's episode is really interesting because I have with me, for the first time, a lady real estate owner, agency owner, I mean. Like by owner, I mean in terms of agency. So usually I bring a lot of owners of development or agencies, but most of them are males. So today I brought a lady real estate agency owner, Christina. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Christina, I'm very happy you're with me today. Like the way Christina contacted me, she was like, "Let's talk. I wanna know about how you do your podcast and all of that." The moment I turn on the camera, because we had like a Zoom call, the moment she started talking, I was like, okay, I'm sure with this lady, the episode will be very, very interesting. So yeah, I mean, just for the audience, if you want to give a brief introduction about yourself.
Well, I am a company owner. It's actually on 3 continents.
Wow.
And hopefully we'll multiply as well.
You want to grow bigger, huh?
We will. Not actually, we introduced a new concept of real estate in Dubai. So we don't want to go bigger. Bigger means corporate, and we don't do corporate. We do tailored.
So basically...
Think about when you're going and you're getting a suit from whatever XYZ shop, and then you're going to one specific shop that does bespoke suits.
I got your point. Like prêt-à-porter, like luxury.
Yes. Not only luxury, but tailored, because everybody's got specific needs, and the weird bit is that a lot of these times they don't even know what they want.
Yeah.
So going and throwing stuff at them would be exactly what's happening in Dubai. We're trying to avoid the charade.
That's a very good selling point, by the way, because, well, I'm not an agent, as you know, but I'm talking to a lot of real estate agents, and I know a lot of things about real estate by now, and that's what's happening.
And you hear all the time, follow up.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you
Everybody
don't.
wants to dump units for clients to buy. Just like buy.
Unfortunately, when I ended up in the Dubai real estate market, I discovered a very important thing. It's 10% super good brokers and 90% cowboy land.
That's not the first time I'm hearing this.
Right. So when I'm saying cowboy land, I'm literally talking Western cowboy land.
Yeah, like it's just
it's
wild.
An entire shit show, A to Z. So it's not only it's not about not being organized, because there's people who would want it organized, but everybody's got super high standards when it comes to targets. So what happens is everybody would sell anything just for the sake of doing it because they have to meet their target.
Yes.
Whereas what we brought in, let us take care of it, right? So we are not only selling the product, but we choose the product, and I want to know what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
From day one. Because the biggest mistake that people do, I'm talking about the buyers and the investors, is that they confuse an investment with something that they would like. You don't buy for the investment something that you like, ever in your life. You don't have to like it. On the contrary, you don't even have to see it.
True.
Because it's either an investment or it's the little pink bow, say the pink today, right? That you put on top of that property. You're not buying candy, my friend. You want an investment, I need to know what you want to do with it. And if you have a preference that would match what you want to do with it, then we talk about it. Otherwise, you don't have to like it.
So it's like stock market. You don't need to see, or you don't need to own coffee when you buy coffee stock or gold stock.
I mean, if you want to live in it, it's fine. We understand you. But if you don't want to live in it and it's an investment, you don't belong in there, because you're going to chase me up after a couple of years and you're going to say, well, Christina, I want 12% ROI. Doable in Dubai? Nobody said it's not. Fair enough. But you buy what I tell you to buy, and you buy it at the right price. So when I tell you this is the last unit of that, you need to buy this, it's because it is actually the last unit of that, not the common
Yeah.
BS that you're hearing left and right when it's the last unit of building 30 from 102. Do you
I
get
got
me?
your point, yeah.
So that's the difference between tailored product and Dubai. Dubai is not tailored product. It's a cowboy land.
So Dubai is not a tailored product, it's a cowboy land. So you need someone to navigate the landscape of Dubai, which is probably a good agent or a good agency.
I mean, think about it logically. Would you plan your own funeral?
Yeah, you'll be dead, so you cannot.
Makes sense? What makes you think that you're the best candidate to do the homework to actually buy your own property?
It doesn't work like this. You have to go through an agent.
Yes, and not a cowboy agent, as in not somebody that just throws brochures and pretty pictures and you. I mean, if you think about it, Dubai, in principle, has good product. Regardless where it is, it's not really bad because obviously there's a lot of competition between developers, between management companies, and yada, yada, yada. So Dubai has good product in principle, not all of them, but it's good product compared to, well, a lot of countries in Europe. Yeah. So the key factor for an investment, it's actually where you buy it and how you buy it. Because any developer will keep stock. It's a known fact.
Yeah.
Or any developer will sell different at a bulk price than an actual retail price.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we do, we actually buy the bulks. We would book the bulks just to get a preferential price. So then if you go to the developer and you come to me, I'm going to have a lower price than the developer is giving it to you. So this is again a misconception that if you go to the developer, you're going to get a better price than if you buy it from a broker. Wrong. Because if the broker does his job, you're going to get a better price from the broker, not the developer itself.
But here we have a problem, Christina. So basically what you're telling me is that for someone to invest in Dubai, he cannot do it through on himself.
He
cannot
shouldn't.
Do it.
He can, but
he shouldn't. So even if he do it, he will probably make a mistake. So he have to get an agent. But in the same time, all the agents, not all, but majority of the agents are, as you said, cowboys. I'm sorry. I'm like, no offense. It's her words. So now let's put ourselves in the shoes of the investor. And I believe even Muhtasam here, he would have liked this advice because we spoke about it. Let's put ourselves in the shoes of the investor. How can an investor assure that he made the right choice in choosing the agents? By extension, by choosing the right agent, he will end up choosing the right units because the agent will help him, right? How he can do that?
I mean, if you are deciding to buy a unit at 2 a.m. because some random broker is calling you to tell you that it's the last unit on the market, you're already a compromised case, right? And if you haven't discovered Google, my 7-year-old nephew knows how to Google stuff, right? Then you've got another problem. So let's leave aside that category. That's the compromise cases. They will buy randomly. Then we come to the factor, my auntie bought there, it's the best product in Dubai.
What? People are saying this?
Oh, yes. You would be amazed. We're looking at a minimum 30% of cases. My auntie, my uncle bought in there, that's definitely the best product in Dubai, 100% yes. Or my mom bought there and I want to be near her. It doesn't matter that it's going to be a construction site for the next 10 years because, in principle, first-time buyers do not belong in communities. I'll repeat that.
First-time buyers, they
do not belong in communities. You want to see the prime example for that?
But what do you mean by first-time buyers don't belong to communities?
No. So if you're having a brand new community, yes, you will get very good prices because obviously the first phase of a big community is going to be cheaper than the rest of the phases. Sure. Agreed. If you're a first-time buyer, this does not apply to villas. Villas, it's a long-term investment, so you can go there. But if you're looking at flats, apartments, right? And you've got a community that has minimum of what? 20 buildings, 30 buildings? That's the bare minimum in a community because obviously the plot size. And then you're buying at a cheap price. You're going to be building 1 out of 40. Correct?
Okay.
Right. Now, you need to understand that the facilities and the community itself will be developed only at the time when the rest of the buildings are completed or almost completed. Okay. So either you, as an end user, or your tenant will live in a constant construction site with no proper pavement until the buildings will be completed or almost completed, and you're building number 1.
All right.
So you're looking at ROI, community completion level, not your phase completion level. And you're looking at you being an end user, because that's a possibility as well, living in the same conditions and as you would put a tenant in.
Yeah, it makes total sense, by the way.
So the communities in phase one, they are very good investments for people who already have a portfolio. You should buy at cancellation price or in pre-launch in buildings, in developments, not in communities, if you're looking for a cheap property.
Well, it's the first time I hear this, and it makes total sense. It's
because
a good
people
advice.
don't
Yeah.
actually study the factual
Yeah.
scenario.
So let me rephrase what you said. Basically, first, people who wants to enter the market, they better avoid buying in the communities as a first phase of community. They have to target boutique developers.
Yes.
If I've said
And
it correctly.
if we have a smaller budget as well, you better look at a community or a piece of land or an area that has at least been partially developed. Like, for example, there's a super big hype now about Dubai South. Very true. I bought in Dubai South as well, but I've got a portfolio. You're a first-time buyer. Your property is going to be ready in the next 2 to 3 years. Yes or no?
So you're not going to be making money on those 2 to 3 years.
Of course not. The area is still not developed. Would it appreciate? Yes, it's a 7-year investment because the area has to develop. Which brings us back to how long you're going to wait. Now, if I look at an investment, the whole definition of an investment, it's return on investment or appreciation. The appreciation will be there within 7 years, 5 years, as long as the community takes to develop. However, you as a person need to make profit within 3. You don't belong in there.
Okay, so what you're saying is that if, let's say my case, I want to invest, I want to become an investor, and I never bought in Dubai. So what your advice for me would be, don't take a off-plan unit, take something ready.
No. An off-plan unit is absolutely
but
fine.
like a boutique developer because it's fast?
Not only a boutique developer, but an area that has already been established partially at least.
Not a new community.
Yes.
A place that is already like...
Yes. So the first question that I would ask a client personally, how much money have you got? Not for the whole amount, because people cannot do 1 + 1, I promise you. Like genuinely, 1 + 1, it's a long shot. It's like, I want to pay 3,000 euro, let's say, or pounds monthly, and I've got a budget for 150,000. Right, but I want a 1% payment plan. So if you want 3,000, obviously, if it's a 1%, the property is going to be 300,000. Common sense.
Yeah.
Common sense is not that common.
Yeah, I heard that. It's a good quote by common sense. It's not that common for everybody.
Do you get me? So
yeah.
it's like, okay, so let's stick to something that you can afford. So instead of splashing and going out of your budget, even if you have a big monthly budget, but you don't have the money for the deposit. So you either pick a product that is, I don't know, slightly higher in price, or find a medium term in between these two factors, or stick to something cheaper but better located.
Yeah, true.
You're paying less monthly, you're sparing yourself some money, and in the meantime, if you spare more money for a deposit, you put a deposit on a second property.
Which make more... I noticed something about real estate. There is few things that are very counterintuitive. If you master them, you're like the best, but there are very few. Everything is common sense, but there's few things that are like counterintuitive. Intuitively, you think you're right, but actually you're wrong.
Do you know why common sense is not that common?
In everything, I think, not only in real estate, but
it's a general rule. It's not that common, not because people are not making an effort. It's because everything around you changes from a day to another.
True, yeah. You can never know. Laws change. I don't know. Because it's like stocks. Maybe someone would want to build something around another area. It will change the whole area.
Correct. And think about the fact that Dubai is changing faster than most of the places that you can possibly think about.
It never happened before also. We don't have anything to measure it with. You cannot measure Dubai with anything
You're going
else.
to JVC. There you go, another motorway being built.
Yeah. True.
There's another loop there. This is a very good factor, which means that they are speeding up the construction of the communities and the roads as well, not only of a precise building.
Yeah.
However, if you are a first-time buyer, yes, definitely you should stick to an area that's already been established, or at least partially established.
All right. Okay. Let's come back to the question that led us to what we're talking about. What we're talking about is a bunch of advice you can give an investor. But my question was, how an investor, according to you, can detect the green and red flags in an agent? How he can know it's a cowboy agent or like a good agent, according to your experience in Dubai?
I'm a no person.
What do you mean?
I'm a no person.
You cannot judge. You cannot say.
I'm extremely confident on what I do because I do my homework. Doing your homework makes you from a yes person a no person. I've got a little form in my office that is called the form for stupid.
The
form for stupid.
So for stupid who? Stupid stupid investors?
Yes. So basically, I'm telling you, do not buy this. But if you're insisting that your mom, your grandmother, your dog, or your cat bought in that particular development, and I'm telling you it's no good for this, and that reason, and you still want to go ahead with it, you're signing on it. Because you're not coming to, it's not going to come to bite me after 2 years. I'll pull it out after 2 years.
Oh, you have a contract?
Oh, yes, I have a form.
That it's a wrong decision.
Yes, and the factors why. I'll tick the boxes.
Wow, you're good.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because I am telling you, and out of the blue, 2 days later, you're becoming bipolar, right? And you realize that you've done a mistake, and then you're going to come to change me. Oh, can we change this? No. You signed for it. You wanted it. I told you not to.
That's good.
Makes sense?
And okay, is there other agencies who are doing this? Or
no, I'm the only one who actually holds it. I should patent it.
But, but why you did this? Because was it, let me guess, was it something that you learned in the past, a mistake that you said to someone, oh no, don't buy there. They ended up buying there. And after a year or two, they came back and they told you, oh, you didn't tell me? Was it this the case?
They told me that I went and I bought it with somebody else and you were right.
See?
So I'm telling you not to. And then sometimes when people are so blinded by either a nice creative or wrong advice from family members, I told you it's the anti-effect. Yeah. Believe me. So, I mean, you tell them not to. And then some people just don't listen. And even worse, they take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right? So you become the enemy. And then they realize that they made a mistake. They realize that, oops, what have I done? Well, boom.
Christina said something. Why I didn't listen to her?
And then telling you, I told you so, there's no point. So it's like, right. And then I thought about it. It's like, so basically I'm becoming the enemy. All right, I'll sell it to you. But you're signing for it.
That is
because otherwise I'm gifting. At the end of the day, I do have stuff, I do have expenses, I do have a business, and I have done my due diligence and my moral duty to tell you not to. But you are insisting that you want it, and then that's basically me telling you to go to somebody else, which I used to do before. And then I thought about it, it's like, wait, so you're deciding to be dumb by your own reason and your own choice, right?
Yeah.
There you go, sign for it. I'm happy to sell it to you.
You just said something I don't hear it at all in real estate, which is due diligence. Like someone who studied the whole thing, the ins and outs of an investment. Like really, if you're doing this,
we don't study only that. I'll shock you now.
Shock me. I like to be
shocked. So there's a project that comes on the market. My job is to know about that project before you do, and actually do. So you have to connect to create a connection with a developer or multiple developers. You have to create a pattern. You have to prove that you are good at what you do, and then you're going to earn your respect. Yeah. Trust me, as a woman, is double hard. I promise you that much.
Well, we will come back to this. I will put a line under this. As a woman, is hard.
If we get the general opinion out of the question, I promise you, is double, if not triple hard. Right. So after you establish a connection and you created a work pattern and you already earned your reputation and your respect in the industry, all done, your job is to actually do your due diligence. How do you do that? I mean, if I tell this to people, they would think that I'm either insane. For them, it's mind-blowing. I check each floor in every building, I map it and I go on field and I actually film the land to prove to you what is coming there. I pull out the list of the lands around it from DLD and I tell you how many floors they are and what you're looking at before it's being built. Because if you're buying a penthouse and that penthouse is supposed to be looking at Burj Khalifa and then you've got another plot in front of it that has 30 floors and I'm looking at my neighbor in the next 3 years, I failed as a broker.
Because a lot of people, they've been through this situation. And
it's
very sad.
So it's like, how about doing your due diligence? And then I've got my boys and my girls in office that I am completely blessed with, and who doesn't want to understand my mentality? Well, the door is there, not my problem. So my boys and my girls, they go voluntarily on the land and they film the land. And if we have a neighboring building, guess what? They will go into that building and take a video from above to show you the view.
Wow. I want to ask you something. How many
People are visual.
Of course, especially in real estate, you have to take care of the visuals. But I want to ask you, how many people are under you?
14.
14, yeah?
Yes.
14 agents under
Do
you.
not ask me if I want to increase it. The answer would be no.
You
The
don't want-
concept of boutique and things well done is when you can control a situation. Situations are not controllable in corporate. In corporate, you do numbers.
Actually, I didn't want to ask you about that. And yes, in corporate, it's all about numbers. You're more into the luxury. You want to be doing a tailored
It's
advice.
not luxury, it's niche.
Niche, yeah, more niche. Because Dubai, all of it, most of it is luxury. So you are more into, you're exclusive in terms of service.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the term luxury. These days, you're getting studio flats with pool on the balcony.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a pretty pool or an ugly pool or whatever, it's a pool or a jacuzzi or whatever. So the term of luxury in Dubai, it's not as relevant as in, I don't know, any other European country,
Yeah.
right? So for them, that would be luxury. In here, it's very common. When you say luxury in Dubai, you're referring to maybe 150 mil villa on the Palm or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So that's like the
I got your
definition
point,
of
yeah.
luxury in Dubai. But if we're looking at niche, it's I want the flat that is that series in that building, looking at that, unobstructed by this, and this is 20 meters away.
I understand your selling point or your business model.
Think about
You're like a hunter. You're like a hunter agency. Like you hunt for your clients specific plots specific flats that are situated in a certain
and the
place.
price. You hunt the price.
And the price as well, yeah.
The logic for that is probably the strongest one that should be implemented in real estate, because you're having. Let's take a normal building. Okay, I'll take Bingati for example. I love the developer myself. I'm an owner, so I can speak freely about it. Right?
You're the first. I heard a lot of backlash about Bengati.
Well,
a lot of
you can
people, they're like,
backlash
oh, Bengati.
You can backlash it as much as you want, because people backlash Damak as well. And if you look in the trademark for Imad, we're looking at 1.5 stars. Do you get me? It's a very strong, let's say, I wouldn't say a dumping campaign. It doesn't really apply, but developers do have each other's back when it comes to negative reviews.
Yeah.
A lot. Right? They love each other so much. But if you're looking at Damak, I'll give you a prime example. I've got a shoebox. I would call it a shoebox. We're looking at like 470 square feet, business bay.
Yeah.
I've got 14% ROI.
Wow.
I do the interior design as well, remember? So
Yeah,
I
you
get
do
the
that, yeah.
shoebox, I make it luxury, I get more than you.
And a Damak product.
Which was one of the most basic ones, let's say.
Yeah.
Right? So you can actually make a basic product profitable if you have. That's why I told you that we have all the services in-house. We take care of the interior design, and we actually, because if you have a building with, let's say, 300 apartments, and they all obviously look the same, which one is going to rent higher? Obviously, the prettier one.
Obviously.
And the one that has the better view?
Well, the view, the location. Also, I believe which floor it is. Also.
Wrong.
No.
Wrong.
Okay, I thought the floor.
This is the best marketing strategy from any developer. Guys, don't hate me.
It's okay. Go ahead.
It's the best marketing strategy from all the developers. Now, my friend, you're looking at Burj Khalifa, I get you. You're looking at the canal, I get you. Are you looking at the sea? Perfectly fine. But if you're in a building on the level 15 in Dubai land, what are you looking at exactly? Humor me. But I promise you that level 15 is going to be more expensive than level 2 with no view just because it's level 15. It's a marketing strategy.
So what you're saying is that
You're buying the floor when you've got something to look at. Otherwise, if you want to take my advice, buy something that's looking at the park or the pool. The best rentable units are the ones with pool view.
wow, I never heard of this stuff.
And for the pool
interesting.
view, you need a low floor because that pool is not going to be seen from level 15.
Okay, what I was about to tell you is that I thought that the lower floors are more expensive or more ROI
It's smaller.
beneficial than the highest floor. That's what I wanted to say.
You hear a lot of stuff. You've got tenants who want lower floors because they're scared of heights. It's a very common thing in Dubai, by the way.
Yeah. I've met a person who was.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, and you've got buyers and users that are scared of heights. They will never buy a higher floor. So then you have to pick the better view. And you just go according to that. So that's independent cases.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at the grand scenario, the developers will sell higher floors at a higher rate, even if there's no view. because it's just a marketing strategy.
Well, there is a lot of I'm not gonna say lies, but there is a lot of empty information. Like it sounds like it's an interesting information. Oh, the floor matters. This is why, but actually it doesn't matter in the end of the day.
No, it doesn't. If you're in an area that has no Burj Khalifa in it or whatever, something to look at,
Then the floor does not matter.
it doesn't matter. It's better if you buy a lower floor with a nice view, like the pool, for example, or
Yeah.
the park next door or something.
And the
Then
lift comes
actually-
faster.
Exactly. There you
Yeah.
go. Then actually buying something on the 15th floor, looking at 3 empty plots next to you.
True.
If
Yeah.
you're overlooking, like for example, there's plots in JVC or in JVT that if you go on a higher floor, even if they're not central, you're still seeing the marina skyline
Yeah.
or part of Burj Al Arab or whatever, right? That's fine. But if you're in a place like Dubai Land or Dubai South where you have nothing to see around, it's better if you stick to a cheaper product because your ROI will automatically be higher. The
True.
flat on the second floor is going to rent exactly the same like the one on the 15th,
Makes a lot of sense.
but you pay cheaper.
Which is more ROI.
Yes.
Look, we went too deep into real estate. I know you're trying to dodge talking about yourself as a person, but I want to say
I'm
something.
not going to dodge anything.
No,
don't
okay,
worry.
that's good. Let's see.
I'm an
So,
open book.
Look, because there is a subject that I really need to talk to you about, but we will go to this subject after at least knowing who you are, without before real estate. If there were a before real estate in your case,
Actually,
you know, who are you? Like, you're giving all this information, boom, 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 boom. But who are you? I just know you're Christina.
I mean, if it's not real estate. Actually, I'm a builder.
No, but still, no, it is. For me, real estate, it's anything that is built, aslan. This is the meaning of the world.
I
but
mean, yes and no, because if you're looking at construction as such, it's not really real estate. I handled the part of refurbishment and construction and management of property for 15 years of my life prior
that's
to
what I
this.
want to talk. Before you become an agent or an agency owner, I think you never been an agent. You directly went to agency owner,
I
yeah?
actually owned the previous one as well, and I still do.
So you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You're an entrepreneur in real estate
From the age of 21,
from the age of 21. So before 21, where have you been?
studying.
Where?
No, I did have it wasn't a corporate job. It was because I'm an accountant by job, so and an economist. So I worked in import and export, but it was basically training. I would say training for the future, and then it's like hell no.
Where was it? In which country?
In London, 9 to 5 is not gonna happen for me.
Yeah.
I'm not a morning person. I'm definitely not a morning person. I am a night owl. I have a clear brain after midnight. I usually do paperwork after midnight. I
We
calculate
exist.
stuff.
We exist.
Yes, it's a reality.
It's not a myth.
No, and you shouldn't go against your biological clock. Believe me, you shouldn't.
Look, but there is something I want to tell you. I'm a night owl as well because my work is all creatives. Creativity is something that I do.
What is not creativity around you?
Let me finish. So, I'm only creative at night.
I agree.
But when I try to sleep early and wake up early, I was kind of more happy,
Zombie?
I would say, more fresh. I don't know, but I cannot hit that climax of creativity in daytime. At nighttime, I'm like, whoa, this idea started to come to my head.
I split chores. So I don't really wake up that late, but I wouldn't wake up at 6, 7 like a lot of people do to hit the gym or whatever. If I go to the gym, I'm always going to go training evening time.
Me too. I cannot do it
So
morning.
it's not going to happen. And I know everybody's telling you, it's better for your body. You're going to have more energy. I've got energy anyway.
Yeah, so
Would
you
like
don't
me
need
to
that, yeah.
Burst it out or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
No, so you need to reach your comfort zone. You're more productive when you're happier.
Yeah.
Happy people are productive in general. I have the tendency to keep my lot in office happy all the time. So we do all these like day trips or barbecues or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen you do a lot of team buildings. I've seen your stories.
It's
yeah.
not only about team building, it's actually chill.
Yeah, you chill with your
Mate,
team.
chill.
Yeah, you chill with your
Right?
team. Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not going to have ideas. And they know how to play ball. It was a very hard concept to actually implement because everybody's competitive.
Yeah.
And I didn't stop them from being competitive because it's actually a very good trait to have.
Of course.
But I taught them how to play ball. The first reason for that is that not everybody will like you. Especially when you're talking about investors and clients. Not
But what's
everybody,
the
you're not
relationship
everybody's
be-
cup of tea.
What's the relationship between playing ball and
I'll explain. Because you can't be everybody's cup of tea, in principle, maybe your colleague would be that person's cup of tea. So because they know each other so well, they know exactly that, okay, this guy doesn't like me because he doesn't like this type of person, but he's going to like her
Yeah.
because she's exactly his cup of tea. So they would play ball. They would pass the client on. 90%
like
of brokers don't do that.
actually, okay, I know that we need to talk about you a little bit, but this point here is important. What you just said now is that Asians here in Dubai, they don't help each other.
No, ever.
Yeah. Contrary, I've met a lot of people from Miami and they said the same. What you're saying, from a Miami environment of real estate, it is competitive.
I'm very familiar with it, by the way.
It is super competitive.
Yes.
Still, people work with each other.
Working with each other is one thing. Helping each other in the same thing, it's a different thing.
Okay, but why you think here is different?
Because they would prefer to work with outsiders where they actually have to split either commission or chores equally, because it's pretty much black on white, but they would be more competitive in between each other when it comes to the same work environment. It's a psychological factor. Now, if you manage to break that factor in your own house, you're on a better place from starters.
And you
lot
managed,
know how to play ball, yes.
So you managed to
I did.
you explained.
That's probably the best thing I have ever created. Harmony in between people in the same breathing space.
Yeah, it's
It's
especially
already-
if money is involved.
Yes.
It's gonna be tough.
It's probably the most important thing. I mean, I've seen people helping each other out of obligation, or one has the listing, the other one has the client in the same office, but to work in harmony and do it voluntarily,
It's not easy.
I'm so proud of it.
Yeah. So basically, if there is an agent in your company and he have a client or an investor, and he know that his colleague X kind of will link with him for a reason that we don't know.
Or if it's a high-
Maybe they're both bald or they are
Or
both
worst
ladies.
case scenario, they would call me. I
Yeah.
need help.
Yeah.
There you go. This is the
And they're
problem.
willing to do that and split the commission with their
Without any problem.
because they just want to ensure that they will close the deal.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's come back to you now. I told you you're dodging, yeah. So you did
Cool.
you did
Shoot.
you did import export London. You're 21 when you started your first company in construction.
It was not. It was interior refurbishments and management.
Interior refurbishment
Yes.
and management.
I ended up having at some point about 1,066 tenants.
Wow, that was in London, right?
Yeah. And that's a nightmare.
Yeah. And when was that? Which year was it?
I still have it.
No, like when you started it. What was like in your 22, 23, or like which year?
Should I tell you how many years ago was that?
Oh, okay, I know why. Okay, okay, I know why.
I'm
If you get why she don't want to say the year, comment why, and then you're a smart person.
Come on. No. Seriously, it's not that much. I'm 40. I'm going on 41. So
You want me to keep it in a podcast or clip it out?
I don't mind.
You don't care.
No, God.
Well,
no.
you're beautiful anyway.
Thank you.
So
no, I really
yeah.
don't mind. I embrace all of them, and I'm very proud of it also.
Amazing. I'm really how can I say it? Impressed by your character, really. Genuinely.
I do feel old sometimes, because I realized that a few of my lot in office, they're like 24, 25, and it's like, I could be your mom.
Yeah. No, but like you have a young spirit. I can feel like your spirit's still like
That's on you. That's on you. It's very important to be who you are at the end of the day. And I think you're going to be more successful if you embrace it.
Of course.
If you're trying to be what you're not, like, for example, I wear a suit jacket today because I feel like it. Tomorrow I can be in trainers.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with either. Make sense?
Yeah.
So the concept of I have to be in a suit, yes. If you're working in an office, maybe you should or maybe you shouldn't. You have to be mentally comfortable as well.
Yeah.
Hence why we do not have a dress code.
Oh, in your company?
No.
Oh my God, that's one of few.
We also have a coffee bar with cookies.
Amazing.
Welcome.
If you wanna, well, she's not increasing the numbers of the agents. You should be a person who like to share, which is not easy for a lot of you guys. So yeah, voila. But let me come back to one interesting. You know why I'm pushing for this line of questions? I just want to know.
I had it the hard way. I'll answer your question. I know where you're going. I had it the hard way.
No. You it's not it's not if it's hard or we're gonna come to the hard way. It's I want to know when you decided to come to Dubai. I want to know the story behind you existing here and starting a company here.
We worked with Dubai even from London. There's a lot of money circling between the UK and a lot of European countries to Dubai. Well, it's a financial paradise. You have to realize that. There's a reason why people invest here. One, because you can pay without having to declare necessarily where the funds are coming from, if you have savings and how they have savings and whatnot.
Yeah.
And secondly, it's because it's untaxable. It's the same, not the same, but similar scenario to Cyprus, just that Dubai was more open-minded and the UAE itself adopted a listening policy. So they have bettered themselves in a fantastic way. The Sheikh, it's literally my idol. I would make a statue from the Sheikh. I hope you hear me. Yeah. Right? It's like, he's the CEO of this company, 100%. The vision of Dubai and the vision of the UAE in general, but Dubai in particular, is mind-blowing. I mean, look at it. It's like, okay, we've got more traffic. Right, let's make more motorways. You have no politics. There's no right-wing, left-wing saying, we don't have a budget, let's starting after 10 years. It took 15 years to approve a new terminal for Heathrow Airport. Wow. To approve it. It took 12 years for them to build a flyover for one of the most congested roads leading to Gatwick Airport. It's still not approved. I live in South London.
Yeah.
So
bureaucracy is killing the West. Yeah.
And Dubai, it's the one that's adapting. We have cloud seeding. You're moaning about rain. Are you having fresh air outside? Yes, stop moaning. We have floods. We had floods. And then it was clear in 3 days. Yeah. Did you have any reported incidents? No. Did you have any dead people? No. Would you like to try that in Europe?
I think, and Dubai was bashed for doing something amazing. We had a proper flood that can happen in any city, and the way they dealt with it is unbelievable.
You understand? Yeah. Like, you're mourning, and they were trying to... I actually done the news bulletin for one European country, speak the language. So it was like, oh my God, you had a disaster. And I just took the camera. It was live, by the way. It was the news. And I took the camera outside. What flood? Would you like to try this at home?
It cannot be possible
because
in any other country.
Because I promise you, even in the UK, which is a very civilized country, they are dealing with floods in a very poor manner. Extremely poor. Right? So you can't tell me that we had this and that. Do not try to stain this place, because at the end of the day, all the fakeness that you're inventing and everything else is fake everywhere. Go to New York.
I will add some things to what you just said. Us in the UAE, we're not used to these floods. So it was the first experience, or maybe second. In Europe, they have floods maybe
There's
once a year.
There's a storm right now in London. Everything is flooded.
So how come they have experience and still the floods is happening?
Because they like to throw dirt. Wow. If something is too pretty or too successful, the human nature will try to throw dirt at it.
It's human nature.
It's a ridiculous type of balance that is constantly happening. Or debalance. You call it whatever.
Cool. Okay, so basically... To come back to the story, you noticed that Dubai, it's very convenient.
I didn't. I already had.
You already had it through working with UK. Yeah.
So I was already working with it from the UK.
Yeah.
Now the fact that I actually moved myself here, it made sense, because if you want to go like all in one place, you have to be there.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus, it's very good for tax purpose.
When was that? Which year?
2021.
2021. You came here to settle here. Yeah. But you've been working with Dubai for years.
Yes.
And when you came here, you said, okay, the first thing you did, your own agency. You didn't start as a broker.
No.
From day one, you already have your company there. And how was it? Was it for someone to come and not necessarily have an experience?
I had a shock.
What do you mean?
I had a shock. Because I came with experience, right? So I was in this field since forever. I had other successful businesses as well, by the way, that I have sold, and I didn't really have a business that ever flopped. However, I had a shock in here because I came to the cowboy land. So, you know the bag factor. Probably you're not familiar with it. It's a joke. So, if you're a pretty woman, I mean, I'm not praising myself. It's a general opinion for whoever likes me. But anyway, if you're a pretty woman...
Guys, if you want, you can leave in the comment. I will give you the Instagram.
Very funny.
I will give you the Instagram in the comment section on YouTube.
I'll hide. So, you know, that's exactly it. So, if you're a pretty woman, the concept that you're coming across here, that you're either, let's say, an easy woman, or you're dumb as hell, or you're somebody's favor. And here comes me, the blonde me, coming with experience and sitting on construction sites and in cold weather and in terrible weather conditions. And I can make you a list of stuff that is not even, I would say it's not for all women. Yeah,
it's definitely not for all women.
And then tenants and portfolios, and they come with a zillion problems and whatnot. I'm coming to Dubai with experience because I had more experience than, well, a lot of people from here. And then I get all the BS.
Backlash, yeah.
Yes, it's like, wait, you don't look at me, right? So you have, I mean, a lot of people, I think they would crawl. It would happen. I was thinking to myself, it's like if it's a young girl who actually wants to make a career in real estate and she looks pretty, she would have a nightmare of a life in here if she is not easy to,
get in a bad way. Like.
Yeah. So if you're willing to do extracurricular activities apart from real estate, fine, you've got a nice life, all the luxury and whatever. But if you're not, and you're coming from, let's say, a normal, decent environment, you're going to have you're going to be traumatized, genuinely. I'm a bit more hard-headed. I'm more resilient, and obviously it comes with age years and a lot of experience.
And being in a corporate.
But I was actually thinking, what if my younger sister would have been in this situation? I've got a 21-year-old sister. She would have mentally collapsed.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I had it 3 times harder than a man. It's either it's better if you're uglier or more ridiculous or maybe unexperienced and you work a corporate job, but to try to make it as a company owner from scratch, and you're a woman and you look in a, let's say, a pleasant way, it is very hard to be taken seriously.
Because a lot of the misconception about the market is, I'm gonna be honest with you, the misconception about the market is that women have it easier than men, especially the beautiful ones, because the investors, they want to be working with her.
And
if she can explain better, and if she have the intelligence to sell and understand and all of that, she will surpass the best male agent. That's what the market, or what I heard outside.
It's harder to say no to a woman, in principle, by the way. Yeah, so that's the only advantage that a woman would hold. Now, if you're looking at investors, like people that have the experience and they are practical about this subject and they know what they're talking about, then no, because they will not look at the pretty issue, right? Or if she's a woman or a gentleman, unless they're racist or sexist. Yeah. Otherwise, they will not look at it. But if you're looking at the general public, and remember, you're talking to the general public, right? I have done, this is mind-blowing. I hope you're sitting down really well. I have done a financial report for Bloomberg and for its European newspaper. And I've done an accurate SWOT analysis of the product and the last quarters of income and also sales in the UAE. I worked my butt off for like 3 days to not get the numbers, anybody can get the numbers, but to actually justify the numbers, right? And to give a proper explanation for it. Guess the comments on it.
Tell me.
Go back to prostitution.
That's fucking brutal.
I am telling you.
That's brutal.
Stop having plastic surgery. FYI, I don't. I do my lips. Like 99% of the women all over the world, it's called hyaluronic acid, and it's going into my lips. The rest of it, of me, it's natural. Halas. So let's make it clear. Now, it's brutal.
Okay, can I ask you something? The people who did this comment or who write these comments, they are people who...
Sheep raisers, literally from the village.
No.
I actually checked their profile.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's my question. Was it, they were from here or... From
the European, but
right, cool.
The point is that is not only in Europe happening, because I'm seeing it with my girls as well. I've got in office one of the girls. She's extremely conservative. That's her nature, like conservative. She gets hate as well. Guess what?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. And it's like, why? Because as a woman, you're doing your nails. Would you like me to have ground and dust under my nails. Maybe
No,
it's
it's
gonna
a
be
woman. It's
so
a woman,
because
and
I
then
do my lashes or I take care of myself. If your missus at home doesn't know the concept, when you come at home, do you like to look at her? I like to look at myself in a decent way and to take care of myself, and you're judging me for that.
yeah.
It's on you, not on me.
Well, you will always find haters, as you said before. It's human nature.
A
When
lot.
they see something good, what they do, they shoot.
Walid, we're talking about a
Yeah.
financial report.
Yeah, they don't care. They
Do you
don't.
get
They
me?
probably
It's
don't know what's a financial
mind-blowing.
report.
I'm very sure they don't.
Yeah, yeah.
But the fact that it's a financial report, it's a proper market analysis, and you're spitting out that kind of venom, you're insane, my friend. But then again, it either makes you stronger
Yeah.
or it will take you out of the market. That's the problem.
Okay,
And
I wanna,
for beauty
yeah.
wise, it's not like you said, being taken care of, not necessarily beautiful as a woman, but being taken care of, it's something that I always preach to everybody. Take care of your personal hygiene. Have your manicure, don't have to have long nails. Have your manicure clean. If you want to do Botox, hyaluronic acid, halas, no problem. Fine. Don't be a vulgar person, even if there's people who can post a video in a bathing suit and people who can going to the beach is not vulgar. How you're presenting yourself can be or not.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I
And there's
100% agree.
people who do it on purpose.
Got your point. Yeah, no, obviously they're doing it on purpose to get their ways easily. Well, obviously, I've seen that. I've seen that in social media. Trust me. But okay, I want to ask you a question, and I hope it's not gonna be very. I think I know the answer, but let's see if I'm right or wrong. If you will talk to a pool of ladies, would you advise them? General ladies, not ladies like you. General, like
What's wrong with me?
no. You're not the typical lady. Come on, let's be honest here. Not all the ladies, they go to sites and they do construction and all of that. No, let's put you aside as a person.
I know at least
Yeah.
3 of them in Dubai that are
Yeah, 3
company
of the- yeah.
owners or CEOs that I personally admire.
True, but like even men like this, they're few.
Yeah.
So let's be honest here. But what I'm talking about is that if you have a pool of ladies, all in their beginning of the 90 to 20, and they want to do real estate, what do you do? Are you gonna tell them do it or not to do it?
100% do it. You should always follow your dreams and stick to something that you're good at. I'll explain. I love what I do. I'm very good at what I do with all modesty on the planet because I actually love it. I love construction. I have an immense feeling of joy every time I go to a construction site because I go and I inspect projects. I feel at home. It's like, yay, take me out of the office. This is for me. So you have to like it. My lot in office, they love buildings. They actually have it the happy way. And I would not having any other way. So if you find the little spot that you actually enjoy doing, regardless if it's real estate or not, go for it. But you're not a tree. You're not stuck in the ground. Move.
Yeah.
If you're not valued in one place of work, or if you have to take that kind of nonsense from your employer, from your colleagues, move. My dear, you're not a tree. You don't have roots in there.
Yeah.
Go to a place where you're going to be valued.
And appreciated. Look, I usually have this challenge, this or that, but with you I have a different challenge. Is agree or disagree. It's a new one. But I want you to develop on it. Like, you tell me if you want to develop on what I'm gonna. It's like 6 misconceptions.
Okay.
And if you want, you can develop on
Truth
each.
or dare?
It's like truth or dare, but agree or disagree.
Okay.
And they are like, for me, they're misconceptions that still now I am having 2 different opinions about them. All right? I'll start.
Shoot.
Agree or disagree for Christina. Is there an oval supply in Dubai real estate?
No. No, there's not. I can actually give you numbers for that. Think about all the people that have moved here recently for the past, I would not say 1 year, but let's say 2 years. And we have an overflow of 250,000 people, right? And then the people that come and move here, let it be remote workers or people who actually afford to live in a different place and work online
remotely,
or whatever. They come and live here because they actually like the lifestyle. Those people are actually afford to have maids, drivers, services.
Yeah.
Now, because there's a high influx of people that actually move in here physically, and then they require more services, you need more staff for services. Because you've got more construction, you require more builders. And because you have more demand, you would have more people that actually require accommodation.
True.
Not everybody lives in a labor camp. FYI, yeah.
Of
So
course.
there's a lot of developers that nowadays they get private accommodations for the builders and for services. You've got the urban company, you've got service companies,
Yeah.
right, that have workers and they have to provide accommodation for them as well. So it's an influx of people, whereas we have only delivered this year 86,000 units.
So we're short.
Should I go further? You're having a new airport. The airport itself is going to be the biggest in the world. Guess how many, let's say, accommodation places you need for that airport? I can tell, in the region of 1 million.
Oh my God.
Because we're looking at all airlines, air staff, cleaning personnel, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So that's why Dubai South is a hot area. You don't have to stick there, but in the neighboring areas.
Sure, yeah.
You've got 4 new metro lines being developed. They require workers and the buildings around it. And then you're having more schools and a lot of people moving their children here because, let's face it, it's drug-free, smoking-free, and everything else free that unfortunately you find in Europe these days.
Yeah, it's very hard. Well, you answered it perfectly. Another one. Prices will keep going up for the next 3 years in Dubai.
Correct. They will.
So agree.
We will reach a plateau probably in 2030, 2032, but then again, remember.
Oh, 2030. We will
Yes.
plateau. So how many years we're talking about?
We're looking at 3 years to stabilize it, going higher, and then you're going to go into a normal growth rhythm. It will still grow. It's not going to collapse. The only thing that makes me really confident in the Dubai market is the fact that it did collapse. We all know that, yes? But if you're looking, I will give you the UK, prime example, right? When the market collapsed in the UK, it took 12 years for the market to stabilize again. When it collapsed in the UAE, it took 3 years. We're talking 4 times faster recovery than a very developed country. Correct? Now, if you're looking at stats, and now I'll shock you, the normal product, the normal distressed deals that happened, right? There were the medium and normal properties. The luxury sector in Dubai moved under 1% price-wise. Even in a market collapse period.
Wow. So there were no distress on luxury.
No. The villas have been, but if you're looking at the price that they have been acquired for, it basically disrupted the profit.
Because I think people who go for luxury, like a financial crisis, even though it hurt them, but they are more resilient.
I'll give you a piece of advice. You said that you want to invest yourself.
Of course, eventually.
Never panic sell. Think crypto. Never do anything out of panic when it comes to real estate.
But the stress is good for the buyer and like people who want to buy.
I mean, it's good for us.
Yeah, they're like, okay,
You know,
who's in distress?
It's like,
Let's find them.
I would be honest there, it's very good for us.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we cannot dismiss somebody's distress, I would say, because at the end of the day, somebody else will take the opportunity. And if I have a cash buyer on the table, why not?
Let's do
I mean,
it,
I'm really sorry for you, but you're the one deciding to sell, not me.
Yeah.
Right? So my job is to actually be the middleman in between these 2 factors. But it is a factor and it is a reality. And there's a lot of distressed deals. These days, there's one of the other factors that I have sensed when I'm telling you that the market is very stable. There's less distressed deals.
So this is how you know.
Yes. So you have to look at all external factors, not only at random stuff, right? So you can't really judge from a developer. The developer will play with prices.
Just make the mic in front of you, just like this. Yeah, voila.
So the developer will always play with prices. They would start at one price, then they would hold unit, then they will increase the price 1 or 2 months down the line, and then there's some units that are coming up that are cancelled, that are actually not cancelled, you know. They will play with prices in their own benefit. Good for them. They are the developer. You either buy it or you don't. It's your choice. Our job is to give you the best product at the best price and not let you buy it wrong when you shouldn't, right? However, if you're in a distressed situation, try to not stretch more than your own blanket.
What do you mean by that?
Like, you would really like a 1-bedder. You would like a 1-bedroom apartment, okay? and you know that you could actually get it, but your budget would be more for a studio. You either change the area, or best case scenario, you just go for the cheaper option just to be comfortable. Most distressed deals happen when people get too excited.
Yeah, true.
So real estate, I keep telling people, you're not buying candy. Right?
Yeah.
I like sweets too, but that's not candy.
Yeah.
It's a house or an apartment, right? So you're not buying candy. You go where your comfort zone is. You have to kind of think of your income for the next 2 to 3 years, whatever your payment plan is, or if you want to buy cash, not to distress yourself in principle. Even if you have to let go of that idea that you originally had. An investment is always a good investment if you're in a comfort zone where you don't have to come out of your practical situation.
Make total sense. Let's go to the next one. Okay. This one is okay. Let's see. Mortgaging a secondary market unit is better than an off plan with a good payment plan.
Wrong.
All right. Develop on that.
It's wrong and it's right.
Oh, see, that's what it's like. It can never be one answer.
Do you know how you grow a portfolio?
I don't have a good idea about it, but yeah, tell me. Enlighten me.
You play in between payment plans and mortgages.
So you're using the more
There's no such thing as one or the other. They should be together.
Okay. So, see, between a mortgage apartment and an off plan with a good payment plan.
If you buy
for first comers, for people who want to be investors.
Let's assume that you can get a mortgage. First things first.
Assuming that
you can actually get a mortgage, right? You shouldn't buy something ready, especially if it's something that has a key location like Burj Khalifa view or whatever, right? Because that means that you're buying a property that's already appreciated in somebody else's hand.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. You should buy off plan. Now, if you have the good luck, and that's where we come in, right? If you have the good luck to actually have a good broker that happens to come across some distressed deals, you can snap a property halfway through construction.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, and if you manage to buy it on the OP, like distressed people will sell, or even under the OP, even better, you're getting a property at the same price that somebody purchased it 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and it's going to be ready within a year. I've done that quite a few times on my own. Right?
Which it's luck involved, or
Exactly, and that property has, let's say, 40% residual value. Okay, now that 40% you move it on a mortgage, and if it's an investment, so if you don't buy it for you to live in, if you're left with that 40% or 50% of the property that you're mortgaging, then the balance, you always have to calculate it as follows: the balance between the rental income and the outgoing payment against the mortgage and against the service charge should be at least double.
Meaning your rental will pay the mortgage and you'll still have
the same amount that you paid for the mortgage. And you use that amount or more, in my case it's more, to pay the installment of a cheaper off-plan unit.
Okay, so that's what you mean. You have to play between
in the same time,
mortgage
you
and off.
You did not block your money.
Yeah, your money is playing.
You can do it another way as well. I buy my properties off-plan. Speaking of Bingati, that everybody's... You said that
we didn't develop on that.
All right. I own Bingatis. I love Bingati. And I'll tell you why. They're very mortgageable.
They're very what?
Mortgageable. And the price is reasonable. I can make you a case study for Business Bay Area, and you couldn't even follow me on that one. But
I want to ask you something. Sorry, I interrupted you. You're talking from a perspective of an investor, obviously. All right, cool.
Right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't sell something to you that I didn't have proven to be good.
I've been in a Bengati building. It was like a 1-bedroom like duplex where you enter and you have a...
Now,
I love them.
Speaking of this particular... Remember when I told you that Dubai is changing?
Yeah.
Bengati is one of the few developers that has adapted to the market request. That's why I like it. So people like neutral colors and marble on the wall and the jacuzzi on the balcony, done. They build fast and you can mortgage it. So if you're an end user, for example, or an investor, and you want a fast property, instead of buying it ready-made and then appreciate it in somebody else's hand, you can buy a Bugatti or any other developer that would build fast.
Yeah.
Now, by doing that, you can do a payment plan, and 50% through it, you can actually change it on a mortgage. Now, the income from there will give you, for example, you had a guest from Empire Developments.
Yeah.
80 months of 1%. That 1% in a studio flat is going to be what? 7,000 dirham a month?
Yes.
Right. So if you're buying yourself a one-bedroom apartment, and you're going at 40% or 50% on a mortgage and it's ready fast, like you can start with the Bugatti ready within a year or 12 months or 14 months, whatever, right? And then you put half on a mortgage, that balance in the rent, which is going to be like 5,000, 6,000 dirham for the one bedroom, will pay you most of the installment of a payment plan like Empire, which is for 80 months of 1%.
Yeah, which is amazing.
And remember, you're only paying it until handover, because that one, after you get the keys, you're going to tenant it. So the rest of the payment plan will be paid by your tenant. Can go to the next one.
So your tenant, when you have a tenant, you can buy another piece now or another flat, so you can do the same thing.
Yes, you have the base.
Amazing. It's like chess.
It is. Real estate, it's a chess play.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's do another one. This one is about regions, yeah? Creek Harbor will be the new downtown.
Hell no.
I'm having more people that say no for this than the people they say yes.
I'll tell you why. It's very nice. Imad is building pretty communities. I'm not a fan of the quality, unfortunately. But the communities are pretty and they're organized. So if you're looking at Dubai downtown, it's super organized. And if you're looking at Business Bay, it's an entire chess play. Chaos, right? But Business Bay is more profitable than downtown. You'd be surprised. The ROI in the address, it's only 5.5, 6.5% max, whereas in Business Bay you can go to 14%.
But that's an interesting insight what you're saying now. So the ROI in Business Bay is more than downtown. It's the first time I'm hearing it. It's interesting.
It is. Especially on the high-end product.
And especially for the high-end product, even though downtown is supposed to be
because think about it. It's priced according to rental income. What you bought it for.
Okay, so what you want to say is that downtown, it's more expensive than Business Bay. And so by extension, Business Bay, it will be more beneficial in terms of ROI.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You're right about that. Because, yes, downtown is more
Everybody's going and crowding themselves to buy a property in Marina for the sea view. The ROI in Dubai Marina is very good if you buy old.
Yeah.
If you buy new and you're buying a one-bedroom with sea view at 3.6 million, how much income do you think you're going to achieve in the first 2 to 3 years for you to match the ROI from Business Bay or even JVC? Compared to all, let's say, opinions that JVC is super crowded and the traffic is insane, yada, yada, yada. It is the second most rentable area in Dubai. You like it or not, it's a fact. I own property in JVC.
Well, JVC, it's even though crowd and all of that, but it's still doing good.
We are coming back to the first point. If you cannot afford Dubai Marina or downtown Dubai, stick to an area that will give you more money than that.
Yeah, it's simple.
You're an investor, not an end user. You're not living in it.
So think numbers, don't think...
Correct.
Okay, let's do this quickly because of the time. 1 second. Buying and flipping is more beneficial than buying and renting.
It depends on how much money you've got.
Cool. It depends on how much. The more money you've got, you flip. The less money you got, you rent. Right?
Correct.
See, I'm learning real estate.
Good.
Okay.
I'll hire you.
So hire me as your marketeer. Yes. I'm more smart with that. Now this is the most interesting one, and it's for fun. Yeah. Female real estate agents are better than male real estate agents.
You can be yellow and be
disaster. Tell me, female real estate agents are better than male.
I will answer.
Agree or disagree?
I can't.
Come on.
I really cannot, because not everybody is somebody else's cup of tea.
So there is no.
Women have it. I would say that women would get maybe. I'm not talking about like online social media. If we're talking like normal meetings and whatnot, it is harder for you to say no or to walk away from the table with the woman than a guy. It's easier to tell a guy, take a walk, whatever. You'd be more ashamed to tell no to a woman.
So which would give an upper hand for women.
I would say maybe
Yeah.
1% extra.
Cool. Christina, it was amazing having you here. We will have another podcast for sure. And I will, by the way, Christina will have soon her own podcast. So stay tuned. And you will see her again on Chekd, I'm sure, in the panel and group discussion. And thank you so much. Christina, you've been
Thank you,
Chekd.
Walid, so much.
Done. خلاص حبيبي. You know,